all right. All right, please mute your background. Brother Risha, you was getting ready to say something?
No, I was starting the call and it took the mute off.
Oh.
I'll tell you what show you stuff.
Yeah, tell you what show is, y'all.
All right.
All right, this is streaming on Patreon, YouTube, and we are also here on Free Conference Call. All right, I've been hearing some disparaging things that's happening in the so-called conscious community. Once again, they're getting juked by someone claiming to be conscious or coming on their behalf, yet showing no fucking proof whatsoever. So if you go to 1 Corinthians, the 12th chapter, it says, now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I will not have you ignorant. This is Paul speaking to the Hebrews. To the Gentiles. And if you go to the 10th verse, it says, to another, the working of miracles, to another, prophecy, to another, discerning of spirits. The discerning of spirits is the issue. Because if you look up the definition of discerning in Merriam-Webster dictionary, it states able to see and understand people, things, or situations clearly and intellectually. This seems to be a very serious problem for our people. They can't see or understand people or things or situation clearly or intellectually. It's as if what I spoke of last week, they're dummies. Literally and by definition, Black's Law definition, dummies. They're tools used as pawns on the chessboard. There's a lot of agents that come before you. I can guarantee you I'm not one of them. There's a lot of slave masons that come before you that hide the secrets to get you from off the path of enlightenment, to give you misinformation, disinformation. I can tell you, I'm not one of them. I'm a Freemason, a Moorish Rite Freemason. We never took an oath in order to hide any fucking secrets from you. Nor will we ever do. I'm here to spread my mind and my heart unto you so that you can have the same information that I have in order to move forward in life. It's up to you to take it and do what you will with it. I'd rather not cast pearls before swine. Sometimes that happens. Anyone can go to my website and read the information off as if that shit is theirs and act as if they have some higher knowledge than you do. And that's what has happened. So let's start with the empire watched toward deduct among your Moors, which I am one. The United Watch toward deduct among your Moor nation is the first nation state of the empire watched toward deduct among you. Our IPO, Indigenous Peoples Organizational number, is 2421. We use that number because our chief ambassador, I Tarif Unc El, is Yamasee. The She Clan, Yamasee, Native Americans. As we were all brought together in 2007, 15 years ago, members of the National Society, we brought together and unified under Umar, not Umar Johnson, but Unified Moorish American Aboriginal Republic, UMAAR. As a United Nations NGO, non-governmental organization, with the number 37801. But our IPO number is 2421 via the Empire Washington Didagdamanya's seat number 215, established in 1993 by Her Highness the Empress Vidiasi Gaston Tunica Washington El-Bey. So let's give the receipts, because the day is called You're Going to Learn Today. Receipts. You're going to learn today. But before I get to that, let's talk about our winter solstice event in which that is coming up, our celebration, our powwow, December the 17th, 18th, and 19th, in just a month and a half. United Washington Didagdamanya Moor Nation Law and Health Conference. Indigenous, Occitanus, Aboriginal, American. Call now for details, 910-364-9099. That's 910-364-9099. Once again, that's 910-364-9099. You don't want to miss this event. You want more information? Go to calendar of events on my website, dralimel-bey.com, and go specifically to calendar of events and scroll down and you'll see the itinerary and the agenda for December the 17th, 18th, and 19th. We will also have certifications for Reiki, pranic healing, Qigong, Tai Chi, iridology, herbalism. December the 17th, 18th, and 19th, 2021, a month and a half from now. Our winter solstice powwow celebration, Indigenous Aboriginal powwow. You don't want to miss this. So let's get back to discussion. Our chief ambassador of the She Clan Yamasee Native Americans, I Tarif Unc El. And who are the Yamasee? Yamasees is a direct descendant of the Olmecs through the Washita Moors. So how can the Washita be under the Yamasee? Right here, the Washoe were a Negroid tribe living above the New Orleans Bayou. It has been said that the Washoe mixed in with the Malian Moors and produced the Yamasee. The Yamasee are the messiahs, the messengers of the Washita. And the Washita are the Choctaw, who are the Olmecs, who are the Atlanteans, who are the Egyptians. This is the connection. The Yamasee is the mother tribe of the Creek, the Seminole, the Appalachian, the Choctaw, all right, the Chickasaw, the Catawba, and Cherokee. The Choctaw actually is the mother of the Yamasee, because the Choctaw is the Washita from out of the Yucatan Peninsula, the Mexican Gulf, from San Lorenzo, La Venta, Tabasco area of the Olmecs, where they found the Olmec heads. Same people. The Yamasees, along with the Gullah Geechee, along with the Seminole and the Creek, which is the Muskogee, fought against the Albion for nearly 150 years. If you go to search un.org and put in Washita, this is what you'll find. Empire Washita Didagdamanya, Mr. Paul Miles. Washita Didagdamanya, Mrs. Verdiasi, Tierra Washita, Turnica Gaston El-Bey. July the 20th, 1999. You'll find other Economic and Social Council references to Washita Didagdamanya, as you see here at the bottom circle. Documents -DDS -NY-UN.org. You'll see some more Washita information. The United Nations. Here, Washita Didagdamanya Ayet, oldest indigenous people on earth. So one nation cannot make laws in another nation. Therefore, we have individuals in which that are now trying to make a play. They can knock out Dr. York. I mean, he's in jail, in prison for 135 years. Well, he served about maybe almost 15 of those. Actually almost 20. So he can make a play. The guy can make a play for that. He mentioned Latif. Latif is the individual in which that myself and Prince Bey went down and we got a treaty with the Yamasee at that time period. So if he came from that camp up under Latif, then he's Yamasee. He also made mention of the fact that he's Great Seal. We'll see about that in a few minutes here, because I was Great Seal, still am Great Seal. But here, one nation cannot make laws in another nation. One nation cannot make laws on another nation's land. One nation cannot steal and sell another nation's ancestral artifacts and property, then flood their sacred sites and places on indigenous people's land that have always belonged to their ancient ones, which is protected by treaty signed by the protectorate. How much? Right here. It is further proclaimed that all indigenous sacred sites and grounds shall be returned to the descendants of the ancient inhabitants to ensure preservation. Be it further proclaimed that I now take all indigenous nations, tribes, communities, and villages with our land, rivers, and wildlife under the protection of the Empire Washita Didagdamanya. I here do the same. Backed by the Empress, backed by Crown Prince Sultan Tupac Bey, known as Ramesses Abel Bey, it is further proclaimed that the 13th United States, the United States and the United States of America, must make fair and just compensation for the dispossession of our people and the unauthorized occupation of our lands, commencing with first part to be paid, 80 quadrillion, all right, or 80 quadrillion, all right, non-counterfeit USD every year for 194 years. Now, who stated this? The Empress stated this. This information is in my book, The First World Order. This is her signature, or as we would say, autograph, right here near the bottom. This is the seal, a true copy. The Watchtower de Degdemania Moors are listed at the United Nations under the Indigenous Peoples Organizational number 21593, meaning the seat number for the Watchtower at the United Nations is 215, and this being effective in the year of 1993. According to international law, the Watchtower have established itself as a sovereign independent nation. United Nations NIS-21, right, /593. All right. Apart from corporate union of 1781 and the corporate United States of 1787, the land claim on the Watchtower has been affirmed by Spain and France, as well as Britain, pursuant to Spanish land grants of 1762 and 1795. So whoever say that we're not recognized, France bear witness, Spain bear witness, Britain, which is England, bear the witness of the Spanish land grants of 1762 and 1795. The Watchtower de Degdemania Moors may be classified as non-citizen U.S. nationals, but not U.S. citizens corporations, as well as non-residential aliens through a 1040 NR, as well as also through a W8BEN, foreign status, and or passport non-citizen U.S. national. Okay. Now, why did Prince Bey make the move he did to form United Watchtower de Degdemania? Well, that's because the Empire Watchtower de Degdemania ministry was put under a corporation, a corporate act, was made dead. It did not stay as a 508, which the Empress had. It was made into a 501c3 with EIN number 57-1232750, Chicago, Illinois. All right. If you look, it was made into a Christian organization. The Empress did not have a Christian organization or Christian religious organization, corporation. All right. You can go and look it up yourself. Tax Exempt World, Empire Watchtower de Degdemania Ministry, a 501c3 nonprofit organizational information. The Empress is turning in her grave, literally, because there's no way in hell that she would have had a 501c3. So, Crown Prince Sultan Tupac Bey, ex-real Prince Ramesses Abel Bey, what did he do? Well, you see Her Highness Verdiasi Tierra Watchtower Tournica Gaston El-Bey, the reestablisher of the Watchtower de Degdemania Moor Empire, and her only Crown Prince, Sultan Tupac Bey. This dude who's come talking about he's the Crown Prince, I'm the only crown prince in which that came from the actual testimony of Prince Bey. All right, let's get that straight. Her only crown prince in which that the empress gave the title crown prince to was Hutan Tupac Bey, the establisher of the United Watchdog Didakdamanya Moor Nation, the first nation state of the empire. In 2004, we went to go see the empress. Myself, my wife, Chief Shakur, and his queen mother at the time, Devan Ford. All right. My wife and I, we spoke, and Chief Shakur and Devan Ford, we all met with the empress, with Joe, her son, her only son. Some claim that he's adopted. Have no idea. That doesn't make a difference as far as the information. However, Prince Ramses Abel Bey, June 7th, 1999, for his birthday, was given the honor, the divine honor of the royal imperial bloodline, brought him into that royal imperial bloodline of the Washita. That's what the empress did for him for his birthday. You see him standing here next to the empress. You see him here to the right, waving the Washita flag. The Empire Washita flag. So the only crown prince given the title crown prince is my personal teacher, Crown Prince Ramses Abel Bey, who became known as Crown Prince Kul Ahau Hutan Tupac Bey, from Her Highness Empress Verdiasi Tierra Washita Gaston Tonel Bey, June 7th, 1999. And on June 6, 2003, he formed United Washita Didakdamanya Moor Nation as autonomous and self-governed based on the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. Therefore, we acknowledge the late Empress Verdiasi Tierra Washita Tournica Gaston El-Bey. However, the so-called Empire, aka Empire Washita Ministry, EIN 57-1232750, a 501c3 religious organization, aka a Christian church, has no, I repeat, no authority over us or our indigenous affairs. Our United Nations number, all right, that we operate under is IPO, Indigenous Peoples Organization number 2421. And you note on the video, the Crown Prince Hutan Tupac Bey of the Empire Washita Didakdamanya and the United Washita Didakdamanya gives us our authority. You don't see this clown prince nowhere around. And this happened nearly 20 years ago. Where was he at? Crown Prince Hutan Tupac Bey reads his edict, the charter, and our Constitution. Based on the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, the whole Constitution is in my book, The First World Order. Here's Prince Bey's edict. United Washita Didakdamanya, we conduct greetings and salutations. We come in prayer, asking for permission of the Most High to speak. On this 6th day of June, in the year of 2003, we proclaim, declare, or declaration of United Washita Didakdamanya. This is the whole edict right here. You see those who signed their names to it. Prince Ramses Abel Bey. All right. Shahid Dibos, Tahida L, Maluk L, Tishakur L, Ishmael, Luis de Bois, and Nanael. So we go to the Imperial Royal House of Tunica, because there's only one Imperial Royal House of Tunica. And if you fall for this bullshit in which that this new dude is coming on the scene who just came on the scene last week, and we've been doing this shit for 20 years, and I've been doing this shit for over 32 years, then you are a jackass, literally. We as United Watchdog Detractor Nation operates autonomously from the Empire Watchdog Detractor Ministry, in particular 501c3, yet to be dissolved. Therefore, we acknowledge, as we said, the Empress, our late Crown Prince, Hutan Tupac Bey, who I come in the image of, because I was given that seat and that title by the chiefs of the Royal House of Tunica. And once again, this individual is nowhere listed on any documentation whatsoever. And we'll prove that. Article 9, indigenous people and individuals have the right to belong to an indigenous community or nation in accordance with the traditions and customs of the community or nation concerned. No discrimination of any kind may arise from the exercise of such a right. So you have the right to belong to an indigenous community or nation if the motherfucker can prove that he is indigenous and that it's actually his community or nation. I can. And we're going to continue to see that I can in a minute. Therefore, this is only one need to be paid close attention to, especially for those that are self-identified as indigenous. They have the right to belong to an indigenous community or nation. So indigenous people have the right to determine their own identity or membership in accordance with the customs and traditions. This does not impair the right of indigenous individuals to what? This is Article 33-1. To gain citizenship in the state in which that they live. To obtain citizenship in the state in which that they live, or as we would say, domicile land. Indigenous people have the right to determine the structure and select the membership of their institution in accordance with their own procedures. Their own procedures. So your community and your nation must have their own procedures. We'll show you our procedures in a minute. And no one can bypass our procedure because this shit works. As United Watchdog Detractor Moor Nation, we have the right to identify our nationals by way of national ID, affidavits to be put on the public record, and etc. The fact that the affidavits are put on the public record shows that the declaration or proclamation has been made. Article 35, indigenous people have the right to determine the responsibility of individuals to their communities. Article 44, all the rights and freedoms recognized herein are equally guaranteed to male and female indigenous individuals. So here is Empire Watchdog Detractor certificate of live birth. This is Prince Ramesses El-Bey's birth certificate. We have a copy of this. This is also in my book. This is on the website. As you see, June 7th, born 1954. He passed January the 12th, 2012. Excuse me, not 2012, 2004. All right, so he passed January the 12th, 2004. So 15 years ago. And this Negro was popping up all of a sudden talking about Prince Bey gave him the name Maku 15 years ago. Nigga, what was you doing for 15 years? The fuck was you doing? That's what I'm trying to figure out. What was you doing for 15 years? Prince Bey been passed on since 2004, January the 12th, 2004, which happens to be the birthday of another great one, Dr. Khalid Muhammad.
Yeah, it's cool. Your mama gonna get you for wearing them shoes.
Oh, she know that.
Oh.
Meet your background, God.
I'm sorry.
So Prince Ramesses Bey, this is his ID. And as you see of Empire Watchdog, citizen since 1991. He was security at that time period. Very adept in martial arts. His teacher was Moses Powell's 10th degree. He was a member of the Nation of Islam, FOI. Declaration of Nationality. This is for United Watchdog Detective Munya Moors. Prince Sultan Tupac Bey. De facto incorrect, Elliot Claiborne Clark. Ex-real, Ramesses Abel Bey. I, Prince Sultan Tupac Bey, declares that I am a free and sovereign individual of this land of the ancient mound builders, known by the indigenous name Empire Watchdog Detective Munya. I am willingly and knowingly exercise my right to a nationality as a member of the indigenous imperial Watchtoe nation of the United Watchtoe Detective Munya. I further reserve all the fundamental freedoms and God-given rights of every human being upon this earth, any and all past and present, all right, political affiliations inspired or implied by operation of law or otherwise with foreign entities are hereby now and forever dissolved and revoked, signed and witnessed this 20th day of the month of September, the year 2003. All right. And you see the witnesses. So this affidavit of declaration of nationality recorded at the Register of Deeds Office, deed number 36130, page 109 in Fulton County, Atlanta, Georgia, September the 20th, 2003. Note this is, yes.
Screen, not showing.
Okay, let's see. Let's see if we can get that going here.
There you go.
Yeah, we can see.
All right. All right, my apologies. So let's get back to it. All right, so matter of fact, let's go back up right quick for y'all can see some things. Then we'll come back down right quick. All right, so like we said, receipts, y'all gonna learn today. All right, so we come down. Of course, we're talking about our celebration coming up, December the 17th, 18th, and 19th. The Yamassees, who are direct descendants of the Olmecs through the Washita Moors. And who are the Washoe Moors? They are who? They are the Malian Moors who mixed in with the native Washoe, who are the Choctaw actually, who are the Olmecs and produced the Yamasee or Yamassee. So the Yamasee are a product of the Washita, not vice versa. So he has his historical connections reversed. All right. This is where you can go in order to prove the Washita at the United Nations, because Negroes were saying that they couldn't get the information, they couldn't find it, but yet all you have to do is go to un.org, put in Washita, and the shit pops up. So much for research niggas. All right. Then we got talking about the Empire Watchdog Detective Munya Ministry. We're not affiliated in any shape, form, or fashion because it's 501c3. Sorry. That's why Prince Bey did what he did as far as forming United Watchdog Detective Munya, is because to put that to rest, that we're not and will never be corporations. and Negroes trying to make us corporations themselves are artificial entities and can't show and have not showed anything on the public record to state otherwise. All right. So also the only imperial royal house of Tunica is our house. Prince Bey gave us that particular title, all right, over 15 years ago. That's our title that he gave us. All right. So we are the royal house of Tunica. This dude just coming out last week is he's the man. He's the man sitting next to the man, 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 as they say. He ain't the man. Hell, he ain't even the man sitting next to the man. Hell, I was the man sitting next to the man. Okay, so here we are showing the documentation. Prince Bey, June 6, like we said, 2003. He formulated that. All right. Crown Prince Sultan Tupac Bey chose several of us. Me, Chief of Information and Propagandism. Asari Alim knew Tupac El-Bey. The Chief of Finances, my wife, Kaderumai Tupac El-Bey. And we was in the Selegi or Cherokee, said North Carolina Republic territory. All right. We want to show y'all the difference between a prince and a crown prince. Hell, this is on Wikipedia. Niggas can go to Wikipedia to find this shit. Real simple. Prince is a male ruler, ranked below a king and above a duke, or member of a monarch or famous or former monarch family. Prince is also a title of nobility, all right, often heredity in some European states. The female equivalent is a princess. The English word derivative or derives via the French word prince from the Latin noun principe, or princep, or principal, from primus, first, all right, and capio, to seize, meaning the chief, most distinguished, ruler, prince. So technically each chief is technically a prince, but they're not the crown prince, which is a male heir apparent to the throne in a royal or imperial monarchy. Its female form is crown princess, which may refers to either to a heir apparent or, especially in earlier times, the wife of the person styled crown prince. Crown prince as a derivative term has been, descriptive term has been used throughout history for the prince being first in line to a throne and is expected to succeed the heir apparent, barring any unforeseen future event prevents this. In certain monarchies, a more specific, substantial title may be occurred and become associated with the position of heir apparent. All right. So let's look at it. Crown prince, heir apparent to the crown, throne, and prince, a monarch, equal king. So crown prince is a king, technically, the ruler of a principality or state. Well, what state or principality did Crown Prince Sultan Tupac Bey put together from him being the crown prince in the Empire Washtar Didactamanya? He also, as a ruler, principality or state, well, it's the First Nation state, which is United Washtar Didactamanya, which now I sit at the helm of. A nobleman of very rank and status, one likened to a prince, especially a man of high rank or of high standing in his class or profession, a son of the sovereign, a member of a royal family. So my book, First World Order, on the back, we explain that this is the same picture of Prince Bey right here on the back of the book. So United Washita Chief past and present. Of course, that should be a T, past. Here is a list of the original chiefs chosen by Prince Ramesses Abel Bey, later called Prince Sultan Tupac Bey, for the United Washita Detective Moor Nation. Queen Mother D. Van Ford has been mentioned of. She's one of the ones who came with us to see the Empress in 2004 after the death of Prince Bey. That happened January the 12th, 2004. We went to go see the Empress May, all right, around May 15th, which would have been a week and a half after her born day, which was May 4th. She's a Taurus. We went to go see her in the nursing home, and also to discuss some things with Joe, her son, Joe Washington of Washita. But you had Tahita Tupac L, Sakura Ray Tupac L, Luis DeBose, Shahid DeBose, Divina L, Maluk L, Ishmael L, and White Bey. All right. Then, and that was all within the Yamasee territory known as Georgia. Then you have in the Lenape, the United Washita branch, you had the late Shafiq L, Samiya Sunflower L, Najee Ray L, who is Chief Black Panther. All right, good brother. And you also have Prince Hakeem Tyree L, formerly Thomas White, known as Prince Yusuf bin Bey Muali. We was the secondary chiefs at that time, but we got bumped up to being the primary chiefs because we was able to bring our people together and have weekly meetings. And these are the people in which I was in our territory in North Carolina called Seleki or Cherokee territory. Myself, my wife, Pharaoh Jarawa El-Bey, Hatshepsut Mayat El-Bey, the Wali Netaru El-Bey, or excuse me, Ali, Nebhet El-Bey, Sashalom Iron Bey, Clement Macmillan, Isabella, also called the Izzy Bey, Geronimo Wilson Sr., who is known as El Aram Zain, or Aram Zain Il. He's now in the Yamasee or Yamasee territory, and he's also a prince. His son who passed, Geronimo Wilson Jr., Darius Kareem Staten L. Bey, Christy William Bey, Deborah Jackson L., and Chua Franco Al Day. Right now, currently, several chiefs are passive or inactive. All right, but these were the original chiefs chosen specifically by Prince Bey, who looked at him in his eyes, and most of us are in the video. All right, especially the ones from North Carolina or Seleki territory. So after the passing of Prince Bey, January the 12th, 2004, proposed by several chiefs that I take the crown prince position. I didn't feel that I was ready at the time, not January, because Prince Bey just passed and I was totally emotionally fucked up. I was really messed up, all right? Because he was my teacher for 9 years, all right? I was the only one out of everyone else who actually was with him, 9 years, learning from him, from 1995 to 2004. So I was he told me I was his only and longest standing student, I guess you could say. But then after a while, he seen that I was prospering so much. He said, don't call me your teacher. He said, just say that I was a brother that taught you some things. But I will always refer to him as my teacher. There's no doubt about that. All right. Because he taught me Qigong, pranic healing, breath work or control, meditation, martial arts. He taught me Jiu-Jitsu, grappling, Wing Chun. That's when I first got the inklings of those martial arts. I already studied Taekwondo. I was a brown belt on that from the age 12 to 15. Moving towards a black belt right now in Wing Chun under my new teacher, Shahid Muhammad, Grand Master. So when we went to the Empress in 2004, May 2004, we was accepted by Joe Washington, Prince Frederick, or the Royal Regents, as we refer to him as, Royal Regent Prince Frederick Joe Washington. We was accepted as the First Nation state of the Empire Washington Demanya by him, as well as also the Empress. She gave us her blessings. All right. Consequently, the acceptance was not necessary since Crown Prince Sultan Tupac Bey was bestowed his title directly from the Empress. But it was in good faith because he gave us our instructions, as you heard on the video. If you haven't watched the video, go and watch the video. 2 hours of very enlightening information. A lot of the information is in my book. And I go more in detail about the connecting pieces. So right here, it was brought into the Empress bloodline. Prince Bey was brought into the Empress bloodline. And he told us that since we held the title Chief for life, we too was brought into the bloodline. And he made us the Royal House of Tunica. Therefore, this Negro coming along, talking about they are the Imperial Royal House of Tunica, that's bullshit. The Imperial Royal House of Fraud. And we will never come under him or anyone else. Prince Bey made us self-autonomous, self-governing. I don't think these motherfuckers know these words. And that's the problem. But nevertheless, from January 2004, after the passing, and then it was within a week or so, I think it was around January the 12th, 2004, I think it was around the 28th, after the burial of Prince Bey, that the chiefs had a meeting. It was all on the phone. It was at nighttime, and and I was still reeling from the shock and the disbelief of Prince Bey passing. That's number one. So I was emotionally distraught. I was messed up, seriously. So it took me until October 2004. And another chief council meeting took place on the phone. And once again, I was asked to sit the chair. And this time I accepted. So from January, actually all the way until October, it took me 9 months. And those 9 months, that was my birthing cycle. The ancestor whooped my ass. All right. Prince Bey also told me that I need to start calling myself Prince. He told me that years ago. And I didn't want to take that title then. But he knew, because he knew future things. Let me explain to you something about Prince Bey. He was very, very psychic, very intuitive. All right? Not many men were like him that I've met. There's only been a few men, and I got a chance to sit with them. I got a chance to sit with Grandmaster Sunyata Saraswati. I got a chance to sit with Grandmaster Shaheed Muhammad, my teacher now. I got a chance to sit with Crown Prince Ramesses Abel Bey, who is now known as Hutan Tupac Bey. I got a chance to sit with the teachings and students of Dr. Malachi Z. York, Grand Master. So I got a chance to sit with these various masters. And Prince Bey was in his own category. Malachi Z. York auric field was the most powerful that I've ever met. His auric field was literally pushing up against mine like a magnet. The most informative was Grandmaster Sunyata Saraswati. And the crazy thing is that all these particular teachers knew each other in some shape, form, or fashion. Isn't that something? So when Chief Bey or Prince Bey, Crown Prince Hutan Tupac Bey bestowed us the title Chief for Life, he named us Chiefs for Life, and Prince Bey stated that all chiefs ought to form their own tribe, but not autonomously of the United Washington Deductive Money Nation. Anyone doing their own thing has no authority whatsoever and are a clear violation of protocol set by the Prince Bey. You can see that on the video. So if you were a chief and you have your own tribe, it's still under United Washington. Now, if you're not a chief in United Washington and you somewhere else doing your own shit, like this dude here, he can go and do his own shit. But keep our name out your fucking mouth. I just got to be real about it. Keep my name out your mouth. Keep United Washington name out your mouth. Because you have no authority over here and you won't ever get it. Nobody know who you are. You came on the scene last week, nigga. I've been on the scene for damn over 20 years. On video. Niggas got videos of me back in 1998, 97, of me teaching. That's 25 fucking years ago. Where was you 25 years ago, elder? Who hurted you? All chiefs are part of the United Washington Council or the Royal House of Tunica, not you. And if I see documentation of you utilizing the House of Tunica or anything else in which that we doing, we will sue you. So I suggest that you take your information down while you got a chance. Each chief, in which there are 24, 12 primary chiefs and 12 secondary chiefs of the council. Each chief has one vote. Primary and secondary do not mean that. Primary simply means The ones who's supposed to be doing the work, however, they will need help. That's what the secondary are there for. If the primary can't do it, then guess what? The secondary steps up and get it done. In fact, they might get the title primary instead of secondary. That's what happened with us in North Carolina to those who was in Georgia because they wasn't reporting back to Prince Bay. You can't go and do your own thing. That's not what this shit is. You want to be a rogue Moor or rogue Washington Moor, then you go do your shit over there and change your fucking name. The Queen Mother has 3 votes, but her vote is only cast to break a tie. Me, as Principal Chief, Crown Prince, have 2 votes. My wife, Principal Chiefess, Crown Princess, she has 2 votes. But the Queen Mother's vote is 3, and hers is there to break the tie because it's 24, and 24 plus 4 is 28, and therefore her vote, if it comes up to 28, then she has to break it. If it's going to be a nay or a yay. All right, if you go to the original Empress's book, Return of the Ancient Ones, which I have a copy of, which is from the Washator, before the publication of the one that is out now, that got published in 2011. My book got published in 2009. So they was trying to ask me, well, where did you get your information from? I got my information from the same place where the information came from the research, and which that also helped with the Empress, and that was from Ravana Bey, who was the Minister of Education at the time in the Empire Washator Didakdamanyan. Prince Bey in the summer of 2003 asked White Bey to come, as well as also Ravana Bey to come from Chicago to pass the information on to me. And that's how I became the chief of information, because the information was passed to me from Ravana Bey. So you want to ask who I am? Ravana Bey gave me the information that I have now, that I've used in my book, The First World Order. Prince Bey was able to do that. Why? Because he was the crown prince of the Empire Washator Didakdamanyan. I was born into the council of the Empire Washator Didakdamanyan and was disrespected. Because I cannot and would not listen to them saying that Prince Bey was only the lawn caretaker, when he was the security for the Empress, as you see him standing there next to the Empress as we showed the picture, and he was also given a title by the Empress, the Crown Prince. This was not to make light of this man. The family members, they believe that they have so much entitlement to the land and so much information, bring it to the people. The Empress just passed in 2014 on my born day, April the 19th. That was only 7 years ago. So I have to get into this information more in depth. So in her book, she says, in honor of the Most High God, this book is dedicated to my only son, Mr. Frederick Joe Washington. Grandchildren, Frederick N. Washington, Wendy Washington, Eric Washington, Now, Wendy Washington is the present empress of the Empire Washington Didactamania. That Washington, the Empire Washington ministries need to be dissolved, though. And the church, which is simply of a 508, need to be reinstilled or reinstalled. But Wendy Washington or Washington is the present empress. Okay, of the Empire Washington Didactamania. So, who is this dude? He trying to take my title as Crown Prince. Clown Prince, I can give him that title. I can give him that title. Because he can't be Crown Prince. Because what chiefs gave him that title? Did Prince Bey tell him that he was a chief for life, or that he needed to have Prince before his name, or that did he get the authorization from the Empress like we did in 2004 when my wife and I and Chief Shakur and Queen Mother Divan Ford went to go see the Empress? Sat with the Empress and sat with Joe. We was there for about 3 days. Was he there? Where was he at? See, you Negroes fall for so much stupid nonsense. You don't even know if this nigga got his nationality. But he can get on TV, YouTube that is, these Negroes channels, this dude here, Pharaoh, get on his channel, get on Coach Kair's channel, and they'll bring this Negro on. And I'm really appalled at Kair doing this shit, because this is my Shindao brother. He's one of the ones in which that taught me quite a bit in Qigong. Martial arts. But to have this dude, A-Day Lohi, whatever his name is, to come on claiming that he's the Crown Prince of your organization, bruh, over there somewhere, not over here. And you keep referring to me as the dude from Fayetteville, or even putting my name in your mouth again. Wouldn't be wise. Right here, you talked about Latif. Well, two groups that identify themselves as the United Washington Didactamania tribe and the Yamasee tribe. See, we was in unison. You came and you come to bring division. Honor the autumnal equinox in a ceremony Tuesday at the Mugi Mounds, the national monument in Macon. The Washington is not a federally recognized tribe. And the Yamasee, according to most historical records, died out in the 1700s. Did they really? How could they have died out in the 1700s when they were still whooping your ass all the way up in the goddamn 1858? Some members of the two groups are also members of the Nuwaubian Nation of Moors. That is true. So yes, we are supposed to be together. The Yamasee tribe, the Washington, the United Washington Didactamania, and the Nuwaubian Nation of Moors. We are supposed to be together. I agree with him on that part. But not to take over everybody and act as if you are the one and only, and you ain't even proved yourself yet. How can you be the one and only and you haven't done shit? You just came out last week saying you this and that. You know when we did this shit here? This is 2003, nigga. You see us here? 2003. when the United Washator, the Yamasee tribe, and the Nuwaubian Nation of Moors were together. 2003. What the fuck was you? You say you only met Dr. York one time. If that. Hell, I met him 3 times. And he talked to me, walked up on me and started a conversation. Hell, nigga came in my dreams, lucid dream, and I ain't call him there. So I know he was able to dream jump. Astral project, as we would say, into your dreams. But this is the grant coming from the Empress. This is coming from Set the Record Straight by Dr. Malachi Z. York, as well as also in the Empress's book, Return of the Ancient Ones, the United States versus Turner's Heirs. The Washita proper and Washita Terra, so-called Louisiana Purchase, consists of which states or what states? Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Minnesota, Nebraska, Colorado, Kansas, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Alabama, Utah, Texas, New Mexico, Florida, and portions of even the so-called 13 colonies, or the original 13 states, on up into Canada. All up into Canada. So, right here, even though there's European invadors knew there were blacks settled and living in the Americas, built culture and civilizations in the areas, and have traded and cultural relations with the African continent. These facts was kept hidden. It was much earlier and it was much easier and more deceptive to claim that all blacks in the Americas came from this region to this region after slavery, or came here, during slavery, or came by way of the ships that they brought us all over. By so doing, they could easily claim the lands of the blacks as well as Indians without the worry of having to retake from them or contest in court by the descendants of these blacks who still exist today and are in fact a large portion of the 300 million blacks in the Americas. Actually, it's more nowadays. It's over 500 million. And the Empress Verdiasi wrote in her book, The Return of the Ancient Ones, that 85% of the blacks over here in America was already here before the slave trade. Only 15% of blacks came from Africa. Only 15%. This is her book, Return of the Ancient Ones. This is the Pope's letter to Obama, July the 4th, 2014. All these estates and estates erroneously believed to represent the American states and American state citizens, and which were conveyed by fraud and legal deceit to the United States of America, minor, and more recently to the city-states of the United Nations, or revenued without exception to the geographical defined American states and the American state citizens, where they shall remain in perpetuity as assets belonging to the rightful and lawful beneficiaries. Who is that? I'll tell you. The Empress wrote in her book, The Return of the Ancient Ones, that 85% of the blacks over here in America were already here before the slave trade. Get it? All legal fiction entities, however structured and named after the American states and American state citizens, are returned to them and their control, free and clear of any debt, promise, incumbents, or obligation alleged against them as a result of false claims made in their benefit by officers of the United States of America, Inc., Incorporated. All right, remember, Representative Alim specifically stated that President Barack Obama was the president of the corporation, of the United States Corporation, the United States Incorporation, or by any foreign officer operating in the United States of America, minor, and the United Nations city-state falsely claiming to represent them or have jurisdiction over them. Now, this came from the Pope, the Don, the owner, the controller of all the corporations on the planet. And we know that the United States is a corporation. It's saying that the people, its states, are giving back to them. But first, nationality is the order of the day. How can you attempt to claim land and don't have a nationality? How can you be property and attempt to tie yourself back to property? And you are still liable or listed as property. As long as you're Negro, black, and colored, you are property. Have anyone checked this motherfucker's documentation in order to see if he still is Negro, black, or colored? Because you look like he should still, if you look how old he is, you look like he might be Negro. Better check this nigga records. The Act of Congress on April the 24th, 1820 is one of the earliest statutes passed for the granted land patterns along with the Homestead Act, Section 4 in 1862. And as stated earlier, the disposal of this territory and land acquired for the people is by purchase and by treaty. So you got to have a nationality in which that ties you back to the land, hence via the treaty of peace and friendship between the United States and Morocco, the United States Corporation and Morocco, Al-Maroc, which is America. You have the Northwest Ordinance, 1787, the Treaty of Peace, 8 Statute 80.80, 1783. You have the Treaty of Ghent in 8 Statute .218, 1818, the Oregon Treaty, 9 Stat .869, June 15, 1846. You have the Treaty of Guadalupe, Hidalgo, the 9th Statute .922, 1848. The Treaty of Cession, 8 Statute .200, 1863, and the treaty contract law cannot be interfered with, as the state Supreme Court has held that treaties are the supreme law of the land. You can see Article 6, Section 2 of the United States Constitution, or in particular, the Constitution for the United States, which is the organic Constitution. The treaty is declared the will of the people of the United States and shall be superior to the Constitution. So actually the treaty is declared the will of the people of America and shall be superior to the Constitution for the United States of America as the laws of it, or if any individual state. So did you know that the United States never finished paying for the Louisiana Purchase? This means that the land was supposed to go back in the hands of the Washington Moors, thus making the late Empress Verdiasi Tierra Washington Tunica Gaston El-Bey the heir to the 1795 Spanish land grant Maison Rouge. Now he spoke that he's the 8th of this Spanish land grant Maison Rouge. That's bullshit. I am. You see this Negro nowhere near Prince Bay, in no video, and nowhere whatsoever. Nigga just came out last week talking about some shit that supposedly happened 15 years ago and can't prove it. Bring the proof. Bring the fucking proof. The Washington is governing more than 3 million acres. In fact, on up until Canada, shit, it makes it into 30 million acres. The Empress and all the Washington holds the title to the area west of the Allegheny Appalachian Mountains. This land has never been part of the United States of America. It is the same land Abraham Lincoln spoke of returning to the Moors after slavery, in which he called it Egypt of the West, or of Central America. The land between the Rockies and the Allegheny Mountains, from the Gulf of Mexico up into Canada on both sides of the Mississippi. Is it proof of this? Yes. In 1848, you have the monumental cases in which that we'll go over in a few minutes. But what else did, being that the Empress is from the bloodline of Queen Antoinette, Marie Antoinette, as we would say. All right. So right here, Empire Watchdog did that the Money Moors, or the descendants of the Kushite Empire, the Songhai Malian Empire, and the Ottoman Empire Moroccan. The Watchdog did that the Money Moors are also called the Choctaw, all right, which is the Washita, the Choctaw, the Sabtu, which is also known as the tribe of Shabazz, the tribe of the Hebrews or Israelites, lay claim to the following lands by and through bloodline. Her Majesty, Her Highness, the late Dr. Empress Verdiasi Tierra Washita Gaston El-Bey is the great-great-granddaughter of Marie Antoinette, 6 times removed and the rightful heir of the throne of France, Spain, England, and by royal bloodline, she laid claims to the following lands by and through bloodline. The Bourbon Estate, also known as the Imperial International Estates of the Bourbon-Habsburg Estate, which includes Western Europe. The Bourbon Estates, also known as the Imperial International Estates of the Bourbon Estates, which is what the Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, Switzerland, Germany, Italy, Sicily, Nepal, Sardinia, Spain, Portugal, and well as most of North America and the Caribbean, as well as also Central and South America. All right. Now, that's just what it is. You can go and watch the movie Celestine Prophecies. And within 20 minutes of the movie, you see 2 guys in a Jeep riding down the side of a mountain. And he asks where all this land come from, in which that was, the church in which that was built, on all this land. And he said, the Moors gave it to us through a land grant. Right in the fucking movie. Yeah, that went over most of your heads if you've seen Celestine Prophecies. I think it was by Redfield. So, it says there, so right here we have, this is the breakdown of the Royal Imperial bloodline for the Watchdog Tunica Moors. Once again, we are the Royal House of Tunica. The young heirs of the French throne, King Louis XVII, married the young heiress of the Watchdog Tunica throne, Anna Maria. Their imperial marriage would become official in 1795, pursuant to the conveyance of Spanish land grants bestowed upon the young heir King Louis XVII and his wife, heiress Anna Maria. These two would also receive the imperial Spanish land grant in 1763. As a recipient of both the 1762 and 1795 Spanish land grants, King Louis XVII became known as the Marquis de Bourbon Rouge, Marquis de Maison Rouge. All right, so even Bill Gates, what he's doing with the land, owner of Louisiana, in Florida, this dude named Rick Hutley, president and CEO of Plum Creek Timber Company, the state's largest private landholder, but it's deeds. It's not a fucking land grant, and deeds don't override land grants. So we need to move Bill Gates and this motherfucker Rick Holly off our land. This is only for the serious people, though. Upon the death of Anna Maria, King Louis XVII, the title of Louisiana Dauphine and the regent Marquis de Bourbon was conveyed to the next in line of the imperial French crown. And who is that? Louis Francis Joseph de Bourbon, as in Bourbon Street in Louisiana, New Orleans. Prince de Conti, the son of Louis Francis de Bourbon. Prince de Conti, the daughter of Anna Maria and King Louis XVII, married Louis Francis Joseph de Bourbon, Prince de Conti, and is this as the second Marquis de Maison Rouge. Louis, what he did, became the recipient of both the Imperial Spanish Land Grant 1762 and the Spanish Land Grant of Monroe, Louisiana. With the death of Joseph de Bourbon, the eldest son, Henry Joseph Turner inherited the Maison Rouge estate and became the recipient in 1762-1795 of the Spanish Land Grant. The third Marquis, Henry Joseph Turner, married Sarah Tunica. And from this union, the eldest son, Joseph Henry Turner, became the fourth, Marquis. And through his mother, Eliza, a daughter of Sarah Tunica and Henry Joseph Turner. Eliza Tunica, or Turner, married John A. Drew Kitman, which is Kitawa, one of the 5 names of the Cherokee. And who is their son? According to the oral statement in prophecy, Prophet Noble Ali said, I am the 5th and the last prophet. I am 5 times more powerful than I was before. This is the reason why Noble Ali was referred to as a prophet, because he had land of milk and honey. Canaan, to us, Assyrian, biblically called the Israelites. To unlike the allegorical fictional character Moses, which story is based upon Amenhotep V and Thutmose III. All right. So he was the 5th. The 6th was John Gaston, the Empress's husband. All right. The 7th was Prince Bey, as he had the title Crown Prince. And now that's been passed on to me, the 8th, Crown Prince. So this dude is trying to come in onto the bloodline, and we can't allow for him to do that. I know I can't allow for him to do that, because this motherfucker just came on the scene last week. Never heard of him. So the royal imperial bloodline has never been broken. Therefore, ownership of most of North America and the other lands belong to the late Verdiasi Tierra Wachita Tunica Gaston El-Bey. And on June 7th, 1999, she made Ramses Abel Bey the crown prince of the imperial Wachita Dedugdamanya Moors and brought him to the Wachita Tunica imperial bloodline. The edict was signed June 6, 2003, which I showed you that and read some of it. All right. She obviously made moves to ensure the survival of Washington. Thus, Crown Prince Hutan Tupac Bey is actually the 7th Marquis of Maison Rouge. And I'm the 8th. Case closed. There's nothing else to discuss. And I'll prove even more. Because if you got more information than I do, then I'll submit. But I know he doesn't. Nobody does. Because I've been groomed by teachers. Crown Prince Hutan Tupac Bey, Ravana Bey, so here we have the 68,883 acres of land in which that is the mid to the top portion of Louisiana, in which that was returned to the Empress and was verified by the Division of Administration, the State Land Office, in January the 8th, 1992, in the state of Louisiana, in which that documented the fact that Eliza Turner name is listed as Eliza Quitman, which is the name in which that her married name from John Drew Quitman. So here, he's saying that he did something in which that we already did. The Washington's Declaration of Land Grant number 923. The grantor, who is that? President of the United States of America. And the grantee, the Marquis de Maison Rouge. Eliza Turner Quitman, pure-blooded Washita Tunica, John A. Drew Quitman, full-blooded Cherokee, Chohari. This is why Prophet of Ali was raised on the Cherokee Reservation, Chohari Reservation, outside of in Sampson County, outside of the city of Clinton. The Chohari Reservation, Cherokee Reservation, is right there. I live 25 miles from it. This dude say he was born in Sampson County. Well, shit, how come I had to tell him that that's where it was? Why he ain't come out and tell everybody this shit 15 years ago, 20 years ago? I did that. There ain't no such damn place as Simpson Buck. Sampson County. And the Chohari Reservation is right there. See, this is the foolishness we always got to contend with. Niggas always damn trying to come in and steal your shit when you can have your own shit. But no, they don't have their own shit because they know they don't have enough information. So they got to come and use and steal your shit in order to try to build their shit. How fair is that? Get the book, We Are the Washita. And if you notice right down here, we got to look down real close. All right? It says part of this voluminous documentation from the return of the ancient ones. These includes the 1803 Treaty and Convention between the United States and the French Republic, 1817, congressional recognition of the claim of the Marquis de Maison Rouge. All right. Senate recognition of the claim of the Maison de Maison Rouge on the Washita. When was that? 1820. United States Senate recognition of the claim of the Maison de Maison Rouge, Marquis de Maison Rouge in the Washita. So, this is why Joe was upset, because his mother gave Prince Bey the title Crown Prince, because that would made him officially the 7th of the Marquis de Maison Rouge. Because Joe did not get that title from his mother. He was the royal regent or a prince. Joe was never interested in his mother's information. He thought that she was crazy. Therefore, that title ended up going to Prince Bey. So this is why they had to disrespect Prince Bey and act as if what he did was not suffice, was not enough. Of course, he held the seat after John Gaston, her husband, who was killed as the 7th Marquis de Maison Rouge. The 7th, Prince Bey. The 8th is actually myself. Stuff I normally don't talk about, but I have to because Negroes always trying to come and steal. Can never damn do their own shit. So, as you see here, designated Washita, Louisiana Land Grant 923 of 1991. We just showed you that. A year later, August the 1st, 1992, the Empress evoked a state of emergency proclamation signed by George Bush, ordering all colorless pale people to be airlifted from her land. August the 10th, 1992, the Empress mailed a claim and demanded the state of Louisiana for $388 billion in United States gold and silver to be paid to the Washita Detractor Money for the use of the Washita property land. No payment has ever been received, although the state of Louisiana did respond. How much did the 13 colonies, United States and the United States of America owe to the Washita? And we already told you that one, 80 quadrillion. There is documentation in the National Archives in Washington, D.C. and elsewhere that confirms the mound builders. The United States have recognized the Washita Detractor Money Moors as an indigenous people of North America and has under consideration in the 105 or 105th Congress, House Resolution 260, the Guadalupe Hidalgo Treaty Land Claim Act of January 1997. So we have been recognized. So this bullshit, when you hear in the lower courts that they don't recognize the Moorish nation or they don't recognize the Washita or they have Washita listed as some bullshit, They liars. Liars. And this is the reason why. The Empress right here. Continuing her quest to bring the light, Empress Verdiasi Tierra Washington Tunica Gaston El-Bey recalled 40 years of work, including research as an activist in order to locate documents and treaties concerning the land known as the Louisiana Purchase, in which her people are identified as the ancient ones. The Empress say the land was never included in any land deal and that it was not part of the Louisiana Purchase, which was sold to Spain, to France, nor was it bought in 1803 when the France rolled it over to the United States of America. She writes, President Thomas Jefferson was well aware of the fraudulent land deal and stated his sentiments at the time. In truth, the land spoken of has never been part of the United States of America. It has always belonged to the ancient ones, and this sounds like the same land President Abraham Lincoln was going to return to the Moors after slavery, in which he called it the land of the West, or Egypt of the West. So we come down between the Rockies and the Allegheny Mountains, from the Gulf of Mexico up into Canada and on both sides of the Mississippi. In 1848, the Washita and the Tunica nations took their land case before the United States Supreme Court and won their case under Judge Taney, the same judge who in 1856 gave his opinion, which was not a legal decision in the tragic Dred Scott case, because Dred Scott never had land connection. He was still property, which basically states there is nothing a black man has that a white man is bound to respect. The result of this opinion meant further enslavement or slavery and the death to Washita, Tunica, and other nations. Africans in particular, they were murdered by the tens of thousands, enslaved and ran off their lands, castrated, lynched. Their names were changed to hide the truth of their history. The Washita became Washington, and the Tunica became Turner. So here are the cases. United States versus Turner. You don't believe me? Go to Justia, United States Supreme Court. The goddamn case is right there. Or you boogaboo motherfuckers. Or you damn naysaying motherfuckers. United States versus Tunica, or Turner, 52 United States 663, 1850. What does it say? The decision of this court in the case of the United States versus King and Coke, 3 How 773 and 48 United States 7 How 833 again affirms that the contract between the Bourbon D. Carré Delant and the Marquis de Maison Rouge conveyed no interest in the land to Maison Rouge, but was merely intended to mark out by certain and definite boundaries the limits of the establishment which he was authorized to form. This contract must be judged in accordance to the law of Spain, but under those laws, all right, under those laws, whenever there was an intention to grant private property, words will always use which severed the property from the public domain. So it was never theirs. It was never theirs to begin with. The absence in this case of the Royal Order of 1795 and all testimony respecting the genuineness of the certificate of surveillance by Trudeau makes no difference in the decision of the court. The construction of the grant was the main point of this case and is also for this. Whether or not the instrument was a perfect or complete grant by the laws of Spain was a question for the court and not for the jury. The case of the United States versus King and Cokes explained. This was a petition filed in the district court by the appellees who claimed a tract of land under the Maison Rouge grant. United States versus King, 44 United States 773, 1845. So land came to the nation by treaty or war prize. The government only has limited ability to own land as before mentioned. All the remainder of the land was held in the sole disposition of the United States until it was granted under the act of Congress by the hand and seal of the president to some person. Then in the same act, the president makes the grant patent, which means that the land came to the nation by treaty, and the patent assign a specific part of that treaty to you and your heirs and assign forever. So the land comes to you from the treaty through your land patent. This is crucial or critical. The land patent secures the treaty to you. So that means when you're doing a land patent, you must use the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the United States and Morocco. The court is bound by the supremacy clause of the Constitution to uphold the treaty, making your patent a statutory limitation throughout the land. Wiseman versus Gastrell. So rights of blood, Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, kindred, consanguinity, family relationship, relation by descent from a common ancestry or ancestor. Swayze versus Jaquez. Blood. Noah Webster Dictionary, 1824. The fluid that circulates through the arteries and the veins of the human body and of other animals with essentially the preservation of life. The fluid is generally red. If the blood of an animal is not red, such animal is called exsanguineous or white-blooded. The blood being white or white tint with blue. Kindred relation by natural descent from a common ancestry. Consanguinity. Sanguine or sanguini or Murray. Murray is also a term for Moor. Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. Inherited or heretical term for blood color called in the arms of the prince, dragon tails, and in those of Lord Sardonyx. It is a tunic or tincture of very influent occurrence and not recognized by some writers. In engraving, it is denoted by numerous lines and satire. Wharton, Murray, Noah Webster Dictionary, 1828. Adjective, from the root more. In African, of a dark red color. From the root more. Murray is from the root more. Sanguineless is an adjective which means destitute of blood, pale. So let's come down. It says roll call of emergency council, chief council meeting. Prince Alim, myself, Princess Kadera, my wife, primary chief, Chief Osset, Chief Dori El-Bey, Chief Kamos El-Bey, Chief Mayat El-Bey, Chief Oak El-Bey, Chief Mecca El-Bey, Chief Dadias El-Bey, Chief Sandra El-Bey, and Chief Nafisa El-Bey. Now, most of these chiefs, we still get in contact with. You want verification of who I am? They'll tell you. They've been here for at least 15 years. Some 20, some 30. So right here at the bottom, you see Chief Phyllis motion to officially install Dr. Alim as Prince and Kadera as Princess of the Unity Washita East forevermore. Chief Naji, who is also one of the chiefs from out of Philadelphia, he was there. And Chief Noir seconded the motion, all right? And votes were unanimous, 15 yes, 0 no, 7 absent. So it was unanimous. Now, so here I am sitting in front of Prince Bey. Where's this nigga verification at and sitting in front of Prince Bey? Here's my wife. She was there at the store the same time. That's me behind her standing up. So myself and my wife was at my business, our store, in 2003 when Prince Bey made us chiefs for life. Here it is. You go to the youtube.com and watch the video. Case closed. Shut your fucking mouths. That's how simple it is. dude, whoever you are. This is my wife and my United Washington deducted money certificate of marriage. All right, as you see here, Sarah Alim New El-Bey and Kadera Mayat El-Bey on the 18th day of May 2003. Prince Bey was at our wedding. Where was you at, nigga? Where was you at? Prince Bey was at our wedding. Where was you? You come to a man's wedding, that means there got to be some type of respect. This is right after we went to go see the Empress in 2004, May 2004, July 19th, 2004. Frederick Joe Washington, the Empress's son, he did a speech, all right, at the United Nations in Geneva, Switzerland. This is what he said. I would like to thank the working group of indigenous people for your help with my mother and the Uwashito Didakdamanya indigenous people. The family thanks the world for all of the letters and cards that she loves to hear and read to her over and over. Since the attack on her home and her heart attack strokes, she was left her paralyzed on her left side. She is well and quite sane. She wishes to see the people of the land begin to know who they are. So this is after Prince Bey had to get on the phone every Sunday and fuss Joe out about doing something and coming to the behest of his mother. Joe finally jumped at the chance to do something, and that was in 2004. After we seen him, and he invited he invited us to come to Geneva, Switzerland. Chief Shakur actually went, if I'm not mistaken. So right here, she wished to see the people on the land begin to know who they are and to see some positive things done with the land before she leaves us and hear words to the youth: love, true peace, freedom, and justice. I want to express my regret for sending someone else in my place instead of being here, but up to now, I had to stay with her. All right. I regret harsh statements made by some trying to imitate my mother. No one can do that. After careful review of all her research, I find this is real claim for the land and must be answered and paid for through the courts. The state of Louisiana returned 68,883 acres of land on August the 1st, 1992. The land is very important to the world, not just to this family. We have a big problem in America. Lots of brown, black, Asian, red men and women feel disenfranchised from the mainstream America. There is no time to get into why at length. Others will do that for us. But our biggest problem is our people who want and have to have their history back. All right, so right here. Not what we learn in grade school, but the truth to combat selfishness, greedy, immoral, and disrespectful ways. So we see that this dude is bringing selfish, greedy, immoral, disrespectful ways. So how can you follow this type of individual? All right. But this is Joe saying this, and I have to respond that this is what I'm seeing. This arrogance, pompous, jackass, attention getter type of attitude. Every time someone come out like that, what happens to them? Look at Brother Polite, young Pharaoh. What happens to them? You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, they all over the media, and there's some bad things in which that has been done. Horrible things. You know what I'm saying? So right here, our youth are being influenced by the powers to be will only be promoted the weak ones who do not represent the majority of our cultural value. No one wants to kill the police. Not everyone wants to kill the police, call their mother bad names, and their sisters and wives worse. If there is a contract in for them and then ignore the hungry, sick, and the less fortunate. With the land given back, this will all, with all of our real history, we can dispel some of the hateful myths. Find where these are connection between the troubles of both sides of the oceans and inland. Try and to honor within ourselves the pride of our history as well as other races that have had their history taken away. Using communication and finding common ground and then building bridges instead of burning them can help people of the world to settle most disagreements. I thank you for giving me the time. But last, I must ask the United Nations to recognize the Empire Washaw Didakdamanya, all right, as a sovereign nation so that we can help ourselves and others less fortunate than ourselves. The following is taken from the minutes written by Chief Devana L. Joe's son, host the conference on the cell phone February to August the 6th, 2004. So after you get back, this is what I was on this call. So right here, Joe stated that the purpose of the conference call was to speak with the delegation that went to Geneva, Switzerland, and to give a report on the events that has taken place on the trip regarding Washita becoming a sovereign nation. Participants on this cell greeted each other and introduced themselves. Joe stated that he was not the emperor, nor did he use the title for himself. He could not be the emperor since his mother was still alive. Joe stated that should his mother, now Joe is called king now, he stated that he's the king. Joe stated that should his mother make transition, his daughter would become the empress. That's Wendy. The Washita is and always will be a matriarchal society, and everyone shall know this fact could not be changed at a whim. Understand that, dude. All right. Once again, Wendy is the empress. We do have our queen mother. She recently passed actually 2 months ago. So we're looking for another queen mother who's the queen mother of our clan mothers. All right. Joe explained that although Washita has been recognized as an indigenous people, however, the nation has not been recognized as an indigenous sovereign nation. The criteria to be recognized as a sovereign nation is as follows. Washita must be recognized as a nation by 5 to 7 sovereign nations, have land and be developing the land. These things are being worked on is put them in place. Although also Washita must show that they are able to govern itself, right? The Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, has over 8,000 documents on the Washita. Joe told us that there was confiscated over 20,000 Washita national papers, documents on the computers. He needs to receive documentation from other parties who have declared their nationality. Joe has over 2,000 original documentations, which I was returned to him by the FBI. Joe has been in communication with the Washita people in South Carolina, North Carolina, that's us, Alabama, Texas, Mississippi, California, Illinois, Florida, and New York. Where's this dude at? Joe has been in communication with the Washita people. All right. So Joe also stated that although we may be of different villagers faiths, it is important that we come together in one name under one umbrella to show consistency in leadership. We must draw up a 5-year plan of the definite things that needs to be done. Joe stated his mother is well, only paralyzed on the left side, and only acts on her behalf after he has approved first, after her approved first. Former Queen Mother D. Van Ford of the United Washita asked Chief Shakur of the United Washita have people come into the nation and for the status of their paperwork. Chief Shakur stated that a declaration of nationality is filed and recorded with the local county court system and kept on file. There were also an introduction of the Washita participants at the council conference call to Brother Hamza, who was the facilitator of the Black Indian March in Washington, D.C., which was being aired over the radio. The purpose of this march was to get all of the different tribes together in order to unify and share ideas, helping to assist each other. That's what we need to be doing now. There are the following names of the participants who acknowledge themselves on the conference call. Listen to this. Joe Washington, the son of the Empress, Minister Joyce Ward El-Bey, Minister Mustafa Bey, Minister Louis Bey, Brother Hamza Bey, Brother Derek L., Sister Devan Ford, Chief Shakur L., Chief Tahida L., Chief Geronimo Wilson L., Chief Alim El-Bey, now Crown Prince Alim El-Bey, that's me, Chief Nikita L., Chief Shafiq L., Chief Naji L., and Chief Davina L. All right, these are the people that was on that particular call, and my wife was in the background, back and forth, listening. All right, so, all right, as you see, 2004, 2003, I'm there. Where's this dude? Bring forth the information. I want to see it. I want to see it. Nationality UCC apostille authentication. So, consequently, the chief council, or rather each tribal chief, has the capacity to form his own tribe to reclaim nationals into United Washington Detractors by ways of various affidavits such as nationality, identification card on a hard plastic stock laminated with watermark, color marks, and security marks. All right. 2, affidavit of United Washington Detractors nationality, affidavit of declaration of status, affidavit of historical truth, affidavit of indigenous facts, affidavit of revoking power of attorney, affidavit of common law name correction, affidavit of non-taxpayer status, affidavit of denial of corporate status, United Washington Detractors live plain birth form, which is also called baptismal record, and of course, what we refer to as United Washington nationality card. All right, so this is what you will receive. This is the 11-step program. And of course, someone called me yesterday, asked me did I know about the 11-step program? Yeah, I invented it. This our 11-step program is United Washington. This is how our card used to look. As you see here, right to travel card, identification card. So it's a right to travel card as well as also my nationality identification card. And as you see, indigenous appellation, Sartor Alim New Tupac El-Bey, care of Leander Jerome Dancy El-Bey. All right. So you see all of that. And this is where you see Fayetteville at. Fayetteville is right there. 1322 B Shaw Road, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Republic. Fayetteville. All right. This is what he kept saying, talking about the dude from Fayetteville. Yeah, that's me. All right. So in order to even be a chief, all right, you have to get initiated into the order of Melchizedek. This dude kept bringing up Prince Bey's name. Like that's supposed to give him some validation. The motherfucker wasn't damn initiated into the order of Melchizedek. He never mentioned that. Prove it. Where's your card at? Because see, this is my certificate of ordination into the order of Melchizedek, indigenous cosmic golden ray order of Melchizedek. This is my card with my seal, with the seal of the order of Melchizedek. Where yours? Oh, I know you don't have one. You're just another motherfucker popping your chops, blowing wind up these damn people asses who don't know any better. That's what's going on. Here's my nationality. This is my name correction. All right, Leander Jerome Dancy 2, Sartor Alim Tupac El-Bey. And as you see, that's the file number 09R834, right there, Wake County Courthouse. in the civil filing section of Superior Court. Ask this motherfucker for his documentation to prove to you that he's a national, to prove to you that he had a common law name correction or religious name correction, to prove to you that he is indigenous. You can see mines. You can see the seal. You can see the damn file number. Here's my common law name order and certificate of name correction. You can see the seal there. Look down close, the seal. All right? Matter of fact, let's blow it up. Let's see what we can see. Because see, this is what happens. Niggas be all that damn talking, but never no damn showing. I can show what I talk. That's the difference between you and I. Look at that. Certificate true copy from original. All right. Assistant deputy, clerk of courts. Right here. No, you can see it. You might not be able to see it, but we're going to blow it up a little bit for you can see it. So this is Social Security Administration application for a Social Security card. And as you see, you can see the name. Let's blow it up a little bit. Alim, New Tupac El-Bey. That's the name. Race, what is that? American Indian. Status, white. My signature, Alim El-Bey. So then we go and get the ethnicity, race, and identification form. Alim New Tupac El-Bey, El-Bey, Alim New Tupac. You see right there when it was filed. Come down. Bam. American Indian. Status white. So all of that went into me getting this card. My Social Security card with Alim New Tupac El-Bey. Where your card at? I'm making these corrections at the level, even on my identification card. What is the name? El-Bey. Alim New Tupac El-Bey. I bet you don't have this because you haven't done no research. You haven't done no actual study. You just talking. I want some proof that you the man sitting next to the man, sitting next to the man. I want some proof because you can see right here that I'm the man sitting next to the man. So I want to see you, Lloyd, Ade, whatever your name is. I want to see you. Let's see it. Right here. You also see my SS4 form. El-Bey, or Surely New Park El-Bey. You can see the name right there. Over Leander Jerome Dancy, the estate. This is my SS4 form. My foreign trust. As you see, I captured that too. Matter of fact, here's the letter. El-Bey, or Surely New Park El-Bey. Here go my EIN number. That's the number I can use now for my corporation. Leander Jerome Dancy, my birth name. My apostille. I was born in New York, County of Kings. New York, New York. So now I was able to go and do the Moorish Holy Temple Signs of the World and open a bank account, Crestcom Bank. But only after I did that, after I did what I just did. Because you can't be the grantor and the grantee by definition at the same time. The grantor is any person conveying or encumbering whom any less pendants, judgment, writ of attachment, or claim of separation or community property shall be placed on record. The grantor is the seller on deeds or borrower on mortgages. The grantor is usually the one who signs the document and is passed to the grantor. Excuse me, the grantor passes to the grantee. Who's the grantee? The grantee is the buyer, the recipient, the new owner, or lien holder. When versus appears on legal documents, the grantor is on the bottom, the grantee is on top. Petitioners is the grantee. Respondents is the grantor. So here's the UCCs. So now you see that I did my nationality as United Watchdog Deduct Amanya. My common law name correction as United Watchdog Deduct Amanya. Now we go into commerce. I showed you the Moorish Holy Temple Signs of the World bank account, but let's go back. We'll get to that in a second. But right here, let's look at it. Alim New Tupac El-Bey. You see, I had this done in Cumberland County on the Register of Deeds. And you see Dancy, Leander Jerome, Seti Q Trust. You see the name in caps, Alim New Tupac El-Bey. Both of these are the debtors. All right. Then you see let's look at it. Then you see Alim New Tupac El-Bey as the secure party creditor, taking control of my corporations, my slaves. On the UCC1 financial statement. So you have your birth certificate still out there with your birth name on it, and you're not going to put in anything in order to counteract the fraud that has been taking place? You got your fucking mind. If you're not going to take it off the New York Stock Exchange and get it from the companies in which that is making millions and millions of dollars off of your ass, paper-wise, and incurring a debt which that or you have incurred a debt in which that you should be able to pay off paper for paper, set off, discharge, something. But you can't do that first until you do your UCC process and you send it to the Secretary of Treasury and activate your UCC trust account. So 30 days later, you can discharge. But first, you have to have all this other information in which I'm showing you. Is he showing you this information? Is he teaching you how to do this? Or is he just talking for damn hour or two? Ain't saying shit, but regurgitating the shit that's off my goddamn website that I put together. That's what I see. And then trying to slyly throw me under the bus. Get the fuck out of here. You see, I put in work. This is how you separate yourself from the fraud in fiction. Not talking for 2 hours, but showing and proving. I've attached myself back to the land. Right here.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I did my UCC one, and I was told that
But did you do the other contracts?
I was told that I have to do an indemnity bond.
Right. Now I'm getting ready to show you. You got to do all these other contracts along with it.
Okay. Because I was told that the indemnity bond needs 2 sureties.
Right. It needs standard form 28. You need to have a standard form 28, which is individual surety form, which I'll show you in a minute.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So here, once again, you see how I've done this. Real simple. Capturing my straw man. All right. Non-UCC filing at the Register of Deeds. Also done one at Kentucky, which is the Southern Regional branch of the UCC. Now we get into having to do various affidavits because most people just do the 1 or 2 sheets of the UCC. What the hell is that supposed to do for you? That can't do nothing for you. You have to have the other contracts in which that is verified. So here you see me with other affidavits. So here you see a surety Nutupak El-Bey, and you see my numbers that has been filed at the Register of Deeds. Because that is at the Register of Deeds or the County Recorder's Office where you are able to put your lien at. Perfect your lien is at the county level. It's not at the state level. That's the claim of lien is at the state level. But the actual lien is at the county level. So here you see my county numbers. We're not playing. Right, so you have to have a release of personal property from escrow. Release of personal property from escrow. And the first property that you got to release that's personal is your person. Because what is escrow? Escrow is jail, prison. So the first one that you need to release from prison, from this fraud, this colorable law, is yourself. So what did I do? The name is in all caps. The birth certificate number, the social security number. Then you see Leander Jerome Dancy up in lowercase, and you're going to see something else in a second. Also at Leander Jerome Dancy up in lowercase, you'll find out how we also did this, as you see here, the notary. Where's dude's documentation to show you that he's indigenous and can operate in commerce as a living entity, as a natural being, not as a fraud, an artificial entity, a dummy, artificial dummy or person Look that up in Black's Law Dictionary, artificial person. Look up dummy. Look up homostromos. Stromius homo. Look up strawman. All of this is in the Black's Law Dictionary. So here it is, affidavit of individual surety. This is standard form 28. You got to have a standard form 28. All of this had to be notarized and put on the public record at the county recorder's office or the register of deeds. This is just some of the information that goes with the UCC one financial statement. If you only did the UCC, then it ain't gonna do no good for you. You need to do the UCC and the various other affidavits. The indemnity clause agreement, also called your collateral listing of property. You have to do a bond for discharge, a bond for negotiable instrument for chargeback, negotiable instrument for bill of exchange, a private bond set off, a denial of corporate status, a copyright, trademark, trade name, a UCC affidavit detachment, security agreement, private agreement. If you don't have all these documents with your UCC1 financial statement, then that shit is bullshit. You don't have anything. You got to have the meat with the sauce. I just gave you the meat. You got to combine that. That's how you get your spaghetti. Then you got to send all that information off with a red mail tab receipt to the Secretary of Treasury to open and activate your UCC trust account. Then you can discharge. But if you think you're going to discharge something with just the UCC, you're fooling yourself. Is this Negro been to the United Nations? Ask him where's his United Nations documents proving that he's a crown prince or that he's some type of prince. I can prove mine. Here's the United Nations right here. April the 14th, 5 days before my birthday, born day, 2008. Who they refer to me as? Dear Prince Alim El-Bey. Who do they refer to my wife as? Dear Princess Kadera Maya El-Bey. See, we really are prince and princess. And the United Nations recognize that. Where his form at? Where's his? Where's his documents at from the United Nations? See, these are questions that you got to ask when these jackasses jump on the scene. And see, being a jackass, you can jump right back off. But tell them to prove it. Get into this nigga damn inbox. Get into this nigga when he's on damn live. Get in his shit. I want to see y'all get in his shit. For real. Because this nigga done did 5 videos over the last week and ain't said shit. No proof. Just keep saying and regurgitating the same bullshit and trying to throw my name up in there. Nigga, my name ain't gonna give you no clout, nigga. I know who I am. I've done the work. The United Nations recognize us as prince and princess. So we don't need your authority on shit. Here's my damn United Nations ID. That's my face. Same face that with this damn same fez on, as a matter of fact. Where's his card to get into the United Nations? Because you got to have a card to get into the United Nations. You can't talk your way in there. Can't talk your way into the United Nations, nigga. That shit is good for 2 hours on a fucking damn YouTube. But let's see you try that shit at the United Nations. Let's look down. Oh, shucks. I have the pleasure to confirm the participation of your organization. That's United Washington D. y'all. As observers in the 7th session of Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues, scheduled to take place the 21st of April through the 2nd of May, 2008 at the United Nations headquarters in New York City, in New York. Where is his participation to come to the United Nations? Where is it? I bet he don't have none. He don't have a card. He don't have any participation as far as them writing him to come to the United Nations. Because his shit ain't recognized as a nation. Moorish Holy Temple Science of the World Incorporated. This is our outreach program, religious organization of United Washington Deductor Mania. Let's look at it. These are my charter, number one, my authority, and the divine constitution and bylaws of the Moorish Holy Temple Science of the World. This is what was given to me by Grand Sheikh El-Bey. Here's my warrant of authority. It's 2007. My warrant of authority, my authority was put on the public record at the Civil Filing of Superior Court. So, thereby, I did articles of incorporation of the Moorish Holy Temple Science of the World. In the North Carolina Department of Secretary of State. Here it is. Who name is down here? Oh, Leander Jerome Dancy El-Bey. Leander El-Bey. Same name that is on my tag, Leander El-Bey, which was the name, my indigenous appellation I used because we was linking ourselves to the family of nations, which Prophet Noble Drew Ali told us to, is Prince Alim El-Bey. So, what is the Moorish Holy Temple Science of the World? It's a religious, charitable, and educational organization. Religious, educational, charitable organization. Here is our letter of tax exemption from North Carolina Department of Revenue. So the Moorish Holy Temple Science of the World is tax exempt and is not a 501c3, but a 508. Here it is with our EIN number. This is our land. 30 acres of the 110 acres that we have. Ask them to show you the land. Our land is under the Moorish Holy Temple Sons of the World. We don't have to pay taxes on our land. Where is his land? And ask him to show you the tax administrative. I'm showing you mine. This is my Moorish Holy Temple Science of the World Incorporated. As you see my name under there, Alim El-Bey. Same name you would see in a second. And what is it? Streamlined sales and use tax agreements, certificate of what? Exemption? Okay, let's see. Certificate of exemption. So that's the land, which is a farm. And what is it called? Mo-Bay Farm. And who name is there? Alim El-Bey. Wow. Okay. See, this is proof. See, we're not playing with these monkey ass niggas. Right here. Farming and agricultural production. That's what we doing on our land. Where's his land at? And what is he doing? I heard him say that he has some land, but what is he doing? Let's see. See right here? See right here. North Carolina Department of Revenue. Roy Cooper, Governor. Mr. Alim El-Bey. That's me. You see? That's me, motherfuckers. Dr. or dear Mr. El-Bey, the department received an application for a conditional farmer exemption certificate number for qualified purchasers. So let's go down. Oh, here it is. Oh, let's get that big and make sure niggas can see this. There it is, North Carolina Department of Revenue, conditional farmers exemption, exemption ID, Moorish Holy Temple Science of the World, MHTSW, El-Bey Farm. Okay, you see? Where is that? And not only that, look at this, assumed business certificate. There it is, Wake County, which is what? Wake County is Raleigh, and Raleigh is the capital of North Carolina. Register of Deeds, presented record or recorded time, and what is the assumed business name certificate? Juice and More Vegan Cafe and Natural Market. That's me too. That's what my wife and I have as a business. But what is over there? Because that's the assumed business name. And what is over that? The real name of the person or entity engaging in business under the assumed business name is what? The Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the World. Okay. Yeah. See? Right here. We just showed you El-Bey Farm. That's the assumed business name, but what is El-Bey Farm operating under? The Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the World Incorporated. Once again. So our store is under the Moorish Holy. Our farm, which is over 30 acres, is over that of the 110 acres. Then you have the assumed business name also. You got what? The Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the World Incorporated. You got the Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the World Irrevocable Express Trust. You got the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. You got the Moorish Holy Temple, and you got the El-Bey Farm. And all of that is under who? The United Watchdog Deductamania Nagasagamore Nation. There it is. There it is. And it's operating as a what? FBO, religious, nonprofit, 508c1a, tax exempt. See? Niggas talk, but can they prove? But see, now the next step, being that we can prove who we are, unlike he can. You know, of course, you know, dumbass is still going to run after him. I'm pretty sure of that. It never fails. New niggas step on the scene, they run with that motherfucker. All right. So here we have the SS form. You have United Washitor Deductamania. And whose name is there? Oh, El-Bey, or Sorrelline Nupak El-Bey. And we operating as what? We operating as a foreign trust and an Indian government. Oh, there it is, Indian government. Indian government, as they would say. I hate to say it, you know, that's a lack of a better term, but that's the only term that they had on the damn application. Responsible for the vast estate. What is that? It's responsible for the vast estate. That's what it's for. So we're talking about the 68,883 acres of land on up into the 30 million acres of land, the vast estate on which that profitable Raleigh, and we have it under the SS4 form as a foreign trust, foreign entity. He'll have to show me that he did something prior to this and show how great this is. I want to see. No more deceiving the people, nigga. No more bullshit. Let's see who you are. Because I'm showing who I am. I'm the crown prince. That's why I got all this information. From metaphysics to health to law. I want to hear some real teaching. I want to hear, because I also teach martial arts, Qigong, Tai Chi, Taekwondo if you want it, Wing Chun, Walloon, Shaolin Kung Fu. I do that too. Also do yoga, Egyptian Kemetic yoga, Kundalini yoga, Tantra Kriya yoga. It was taught to us by Sunyata Saraswati. I ain't the one all the time for boiling myself up in a ball, but we can still teach it. I want to know somebody more thorough than I am. That's what I want to know. And that's not to be braggadocious. That's just to damn say, okay, if you want to follow a nigga, you know what I'm saying? He got to know something beyond the scope of what I'm teaching and beyond, you know, the truth of the matter. I want to see it. I want to see it. 5 videos and shit. I got one video that can out talk and out teach that nigga just an hour and a half video. And he did 5 videos. That's a shame. And people when they talking about it's powerful. What was powerful? I'm trying to figure out what was said that was so damn powerful. Nothing. Anyway, we showing you our land deeds. And the next step after we have secured the land as far as religious exemption is allodial title, land patterns. That's the next step. But niggas haven't even gotten to this step and got to talk shit. No need of talking shit because you haven't even damn learned how to damn master tax exemption, tax exclusion. To even get to the level of land pattern and allodial title, Homestead Act. We know how to do that too. But one step at a time. Let's get to this step first. Let's get this mastered first. Most niggas ain't even got nationality. Hell, this nigga got to start out showing your nationality first. That he got a nationality. If he can't prove that, then shit. I know y'all niggas don't need to be following this nigga to nowhere. I don't care how much he talks. I've seen him come and go over the last 25 years, y'all. That's the only reason why I'm doing this video. I've seen him come and go over the last 25 years. Niggas jump on the damn dick, as we would say, ride a dick. Niggas got mad at me because I said, yo, you can't ride a dead man's dick. Or you can't ride a live nigga dick either. All right, especially when they damn can't produce shit. Niggas shooting blanks. That's what's going on. Niggas shooting blanks. So y'all got to see if this nigga loaded. Let's see. Because see, Alim New Park El-Bey, he's an heir. And who he granted, who he as the grantor gave the land to. Oh, there it is. Moorish Holy Temple Signs of the World, Irrevocable Express Trust. You see that? So, all those in which that's following this nigga, show him this video. after we finish. Right here. D3. Oh, they go to the name again. It was Asaraline Nutupak El-Bey. Moorish Holy Temple Signs of the World Express Trust. Okay. And all these niggas out here talking all this shit. That's what I'm talking about, man. Show and prove, yo. You know what I'm saying? I got chiefs from Missouri, the show me state, niggas. Got to show and prove. That's what they need. They need show and proving. I know I need it. Uh-oh. Property tax exemption or exclusion. What is that name? Oh, Asaraline Nutupak El-Bey. What's that? Moorish Holy Temple Signs of the World. The property is what? Exempt. Why? Religious purposes. I give the area of the land where it is. Boom. It's exempt. That's land. That's our land in Kelly, North Carolina. That's 6 acres. 30 acres up to 110 acres. We got 6 more acres. Right here. This is of the land that's there in Kelly, Bladen County. Uh-oh. Warranty deed. And the land was turned over to who? Moorish Holy Temple Signs of the World Irrevocable Trust. There's the signatures of those in which that gave that in which that we got the land from. And now it's tax exempt. Right? Here's some more land. So you want proof? More proof? Here it is. View tax bill. The Moorish Holy Temple Signs of the World Express Trust. And how much do I owe? Balance is 0. 0. This is the land here. That's the 6 acres right there. When you see the blue line all the way around the blue line, there you go. Keep following the blue line. Come on back. See everything that we have. Houses, cars, land is all of it is under Moorish Holy Temple Signs of the World, which the Moorish Holy Temple Signs of the World is the umbrella for all of the other properties that we have. And who's that under? Oh, that is under United Watchdog Deduct Dominion. It just shows you that. So here's almost 2 acres again, and this is our embassy. United Watchdog Embassy and Consulate. That is on the 2 acres, nearly the 2 acres. Ask this nigga where's his consulate at? Where's his embassy? Matter of fact, this chief that's on this phone line right now that's been here to our consulate and embassy. Brother L, you still on here? Chief L? Chief Fahim El-Bey? Chief Rishis?
Yeah, I'm here.
They've been here. This is our embassy, our consulate. We have an actual brick and mortar location. As United Washtenaw. Ask this brother, what does he have? Where is he located? Where? Show us something. I can show you our shit. We're doing this for 20 years. Prince Bey gave us the ability to do this. This is our United Washtenaw Embassy and Consulate. Documents that is documented right at the North Carolina Department of Secretary of State. Here it is. Who name is down there? Oh, mine's again. Alim El-Bey. We also have our Crown Prince Hutan Tupac Bey, Indigenous Customary Supreme Court. We also have our United Washtenaw Indigenous Law Firm. Matter of fact, this is what this class is about, is learning law. And when I believe that the person is ready, they can get certified to become an indigenous lawyer. And become part of the United Washtenaw Indigenous Law Firm. So we have a lot of outreach programs and arms in which that help people to understand what's really going on. Like I said, our automobiles, right? Application for motor vehicle exemption. Moorish Holy Simple Signs of the World. Alim El-Bey. Our automobiles exempt. Once again, here is tax exemption. Got more to show. Just bear with me for a little bit. Dude said that he's from the Great Seal National Association of Moorish Affairs. Well, I was an emir in the Great Seal National Association of Moorish Affairs. And I don't remember him. Who's the Great Seal under? The Great Seal and the Clock of Destiny Moors are under CM-Bey. 3rd, 33rd, and the 360-degree Moorish Mason, free Moorish master astrologer, Moorish constitutional lawgiver. Isanami. What did CM-Bey, Charles Mosley Bey, do? Well, he did certificates in which that he had filed at the Library of Congress, AA 77869, AA 209316, and AA 222141. Very powerful. You got to do the knowledge, because when you do AA 222141, you find out that it's connected to what is referred to as the codes of the law of the United States of America of general and permanent character, in which that they tried to remove in 1956, individual by the name of President Dwight Eisenhower tried to remove the consular court, but because CM-Bey put it into record in the Library of Congress, that means it can be retrieved, just like any library card can work in order to go into the library and retrieve books. You go and get it, check it out, you bring it back. Who's the empress sitting under? The picture that she's sitting under. As you know, she was born May 4th, 1927. She passed April the 19th on my born day, 2014. In these pictures, the empress is sitting under a picture of El-Bey, Charles Motley Bey. So please mute your background. So here we have the Great Seal National Association of Moorish Affairs documentation. This is Yusuf Rami Bey, the Sultan, the late Sultan of, and the head of the Great Seal National Association of Moorish Affairs. And he made me, May 2006, the Qazi, the Chief Justice or the Chief Judge Magistrate. Months later, I was moved to be the Wasir al-Faraz, which is the Prime Minister, National Spokesman for the Great Seal. And eventually, I was made the Emir, an Emir of the Great Seal. And here are my documentation of the Great Seal. Ask him to show you his. Here's a brother who we know as Jelani Bey, Chief Jelani Bey, also Supreme Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the World, Jelani Bey, and he can verify who I am and who I was in the Great Seal. In fact, after he removed himself from the Great Seal, I was called by this brother, Kamal Bey, who is now the acting head of the Great Seal, after Yusuf Rami Bey, to become the Southern Grand Commander or Emir of the Southern region. He can verify who I am and who I was in the Great Seal. Do say he was Great Seal? No, I was Great Seal. I was also Washita and also United Washita. All three at the same time. And a Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the World. All at the same time. And still is to this very day. So, the right to travel. This right here is Ralph Milstead, Director, Department of Public Safety, State of Arizona, and dear Director Milstead. Now, who is this coming from? Let's see. This is coming from, as you see, the state, right? The state senator, a state senator is writing, and it says, it's come to my attention that numerous individuals in our state has rescinded all of their contracts with the United States federal government, the state of Arizona, and each of its political subdivisions. All right. And basically they themselves as freemen under the organic national constitution of the Republic of the United States of America. Consequently, the way in which that they're driving without registration, driver's license, and any other all right, contract. They don't have any of these contracts any longer. They're not using them. Because many law enforcement personnel may be unaware of the contractual, all right, situation with them not having registration and driver's license. He's saying basically this is conceivable that, that they do have this right. And he goes on and on and on about it. You can read the letter. So the first thing that you do, you have to return your license back to the DMV. It's called a driver's license cancellation or cancellation. This is one from Michigan Department of State, Lansing 48918. This is driver's license. And it's called a license canceled by voluntary surrender. Voluntary surrender. So you have to surrender it first. Then you have to do a right to travel affidavit, and you then can put your plate onto your automobile. This is one of our plates. Yep, we've been doing this a long time. Where's this dude's plates at? Do he have any plates for his nation? He got a nation. He's trying to be the emperor, the king, the grand imperial potentate. You trying to be every damn thing there is, and then get to come and try to crush on my shit, Crown Prince. See, we had our license plates made by the same license plate place in which that makes the license for all the states. That's how good we did this shit. We didn't get that shit out the mall, niggas. We went to the same place that they damn got their license plates from, the states. We, as a first state of the Empire of Washington, we got our state plates from them too. And here it is. So we did a real property, a vehicle ownership. We did a motor, automobile recording. This is what we did with our own documents. We did a notice of claim of maritime lien. This is how you see that we had it set up. Oh, there it is. Moorish Holy Temple, Signs of the World, Temple 2. Boom. Kadera, Alim. Oh, sorry, Alim. There it is. $1 million if you fuck with our shit. And what was it? It was one of our cars, a Chevrolet Trailblazer. We did a release of lien on real property. Moorish Holy Temple, Signs of the World again. Over the Trailblazer. Now we've done that with all of our automobiles. Cause transfer versus the city of Tampa 241. Motorists illegally held for 23 minutes in a traffic charge was awarded $25,000 in damages, meaning that this has set the precedence for you to also receive money on the civil side, that is, not the criminal. All right, for violations of your rights. Here, you can see the end of Jerome Dancy, El-Bey. That's what they was calling me then. And you can see they had fiction, T-fiction, CNCL, REV, RBG, card, tag. What it's basically saying is that I have fictitious tags, fictitious ID, and fictitious registration. And if you look up in the upper left-hand corner, you see the word disposed. The shit got dismissed. So everything that they claim that I didn't have, how come I won in the damn court case? Same thing over here. No operator's license. Dismiss. So fictitious tags, fictitious ID, fictitious no insurance, no operating driver's license. All of that shit was dismissed. No problem. You can also do an international driver's permit. So I showed you earlier my right to travel card and ID card. We combined them at that time. Now we do it separately. But here, you can also do an international driving permit, in which that you can fill out, send it to Hawaii, and they can send you a international driving permit, and you can drive, as they say, within 28 states. We also have another way of doing things now, because remember, everything is under the Moorish Holy Temple signs of the world. So now we put our automobiles under the Moorish Holy Temple signs of the world, right there at the damn insurance company. Because the Moorish Holy Temple signs of the world is a religious organization, we don't have to pay taxes, or we have a tax exemption for the automobiles. So we can now do the insurance, in which that protects all the cars in which that we have underneath that. So as you see, that Trailblazer that we had, the Mercedes, you know, all of that, we had it put under the Moorish Holy. That's how you do that. Ask him to show you his documentation of proof of that. See, we can do that. And you keep saying the same name over and over again. Alim El-Bey, or either my given name, Leander Jerome Dancy, or Leander Dancy El-Bey, whatever the case is. You see my shit. I ain't running from nothing. Been doing this shit for damn 32 years. I ain't running from shit. I ain't running from court. Matter of fact, I'll run to court to get the shit over.
Oh, that's funny.
I do, God. Especially traffic violation shit. You know what I'm saying? I run to court. Matter of fact, I'd be skipping niggas in line. Hold on, let me get here, yo. But as you do your nationality and you do your commerce, make sure that you have a WABN along with your 1040 NR on file. This is my WABN form. As you see here, my name, Alim El-Bey. There it is. Got to blow shit up for niggas. Make you know that we ain't faking the funk. We got this shit. Who name is that down there at the bottom? Alim El-Bey. And what does a WABN form do? Well, let's look at it. Certificate of Foreign Status of Beneficial Owner for the United States tax withholding. I'll let you do your own research on that. Let's look at this. Certificate of Foreign Status for a Moorish American. Oh, shit now. I ain't gonna even get on that one. So, I go to Office Max. I got a tax exempt card. State of North Carolina. Customer ID. What's my company name? Oh, Unity Washington Deduct the Money Nation. Okay. I go to Walmart. I got a tax exempt card, ID card. Oh, what is that? Oh, I see Unity Washington Deduct the Money. My customer number. Oh, and there go my name, Leander Jerome Dancy El-Bey, as I already told you. And what is that? Number 5. What is that? Government agency. That's what Unity Washington Deduct the Money Nation is. So, Ask him to show you documentation of who he is. Please. Otherwise, make this motherfucker shut up. Because you're going to lead your brothers and sisters back into slavery like they always do. Niggas get disgruntled. They get upset. I had a female to write me the other day to my she put her information in at the Moorish consulate. And I'm like, oh man, we're not the Moorish consulate. We're United Washington Deduct the Manya. We're not affiliated with them in any shape, form, or fashion. So if you didn't receive your shit from them, then, you know, I can't do that. Here's the link for you can go to ours. Because we ain't going to leave you out there. We'll try our best to get you the best information that we possibly can. We don't know everything. But goddamn, I'm further than everybody else I've done listen to. That's what I do know. So prove it. That's what we got to do. Prove it. Nigga, prove it. So, and also we send a thumb drive, flash drive of mass information for further research and study. So to deny your identity card because it is not administrated from a corporate state or enclave or a corporate state violating your indigenous and natural rights. For anyone, entity, corporation, or otherwise, etc., to deny your indigenous card or identification card because it is not administrated from a corporate state or enclave is not only a coercion to make you adhere to policies of a corporation or to make you a corporate person in yourself, it violates your natural rights, your God-given rights. Your right to contract and violates the defines of what identity or identification is. Let's look at it. Definition of identification card. A card that gives identifying information, same as name, age, and organizational membership about a person who then carries the card and use it to establish his or her identity, also called identity card. This is Webster illustration or Illustrated Encyclopedia Dictionary, 1987. Now they say, oh, no, you got to have a state ID. Well, what's the policies of the state? Well, according to the maxims of the law, all are equal under the law. Truth is expressed in the form of an affidavit. An unrebutted affidavit stands as truth. An unrebutted affidavit becomes the judgment. A lien or claim can be satisfied only through an unrebutted or rebuttable affidavit, point by point, resolution by jury, or payment. Well, that means that the DA has to prove his point of law, point for point, from your affidavit. If it's not rebutted, if it's unrebutted, then it stands as truth in judgment. That's just what the truth is. So Winsett versus Donaldson, statements in affidavits that are not rebutted by opposing party affidavit or pleading may be accepted as true by the trial court. I hear this Negro talking about David Wynn Miller. Dude, I studied David Wynn Miller in 2005, 2006, 2007. Ain't nothing surprising. Hell, our damn live claim birth forms is in the truth language or quantum language from David Wynn Miller. We studied with him too. You ain't nothing phenomenal. That shit ain't phenomenal. I just had to say that. All right, so Article 34 of the Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People. Indigenous people have the right to promote, develop, and maintain their institutional structures and their distinctive customs, spirituality, traditions, procedures, practices, and in case where there exists judicial systems or customs. So we have our judicial system. the Supreme Court, Crown Prince Hutan Tupac Bey Indigenous Customary Court is our system in accordance with international human rights standards. The chiefs have to get their nationals that they're bringing into it interested in holding positions in the judicial capacity. Our legal system. Article 40, indigenous people have the right to access and to promote or prompt decisions through just and fair procedures for the resolution of conflict and disputes with states and other parties, as well as effective remedies for all infringements on the individual and collective rights. Such a decision should give due consideration to the customs, traditions, rules, and legal systems of the indigenous people concerning international human rights. So the United Watchdog Detractors Embassy and Consulate is C201520800755 via the Crown Prince Hutan Tupac Indigenous Customary Supreme Court C201510303919, EIN number 47-43429493, and the Noble Drew Ali Memorial Supreme Moorish Customary Court, in which that brother Jelani had set up, is 110720-0167. Those that are reclamated, you may attend the online classes for free, just like you're doing right now today. These classes are free. So when niggas talk about, oh man, you charging for nationality, nigga, then you just get this information, damn 3-4 hours lecture for free. Shut the fuck up. Oh, he's coming with that damn dumb shit. And nationality is supposed to be free. Well, go and see if you can get it for free then, nigga. Because even if you got to print the shit off of RV Publications, you got to pay for the fucking ink and the goddamn printer that you had to buy and the goddamn inks that you had to buy for the printer. And you got to pay for the paper.
People don't value the stuff that is free. That's why it's good to charge.
Right. That's number one. And you got to pay for all of that. And then you're going to expect for somebody who had to pay for all of that to say, oh, it's free. I did that shit for almost like 2 years. And just like the sister said, it wasn't even respected. 2 years we did free. We did nationality cards for free. We did paperwork for free. Wasn't respected. We did Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday classes free. And still do Wednesday classes even now, free. And Sunday classes now, free. Nigga, you better get in where you can fit in. Free. But for the paperwork and documentation and all this shit that I just went over, you have to pay for that shit, nigga. Case closed. I ain't going to debate you on that. Matter of fact, you can't win. So right here, following is a proof of our United Nations affiliations and various treaties that we have set forth thus far. We as United Watchdog Detective Money are in treaty with the Rainbow Nation of Native Americans, the United Nuwaubian Moors of Mount Arafat. This is where he claimed that he comes from, because this is Chief Latif clan. The She clan of the Yamasee Native American Moors, that's his I Tarif Unc El, our United Nations ambassador, the Great Seal National Association of Moorish Affairs, the Moors of the Round Table, that's Taj. Yep, they in unity with us too. The Seminole Inter-American Nation, the original Moab Kitawa Cherokee Nation, the Ani Gidalawa Nation, the Yamasee Nation of Moors, the Nisahu Clan of Moors, ISIS, which is now called Honor, the Aboriginal Republic of North America, Dr. Ali Muhammad. So we've been in treaty with these people for over 15 years. This is our information which that we had drawn up at the United Nations. As you can see, Docet, collected at the permanent form 2005. This is how long we've been dealing with this shit. Right here, Geneva, Switzerland. This is what that is. As you see here, Tarif Unk L. This is who did that. 2005, our chief ambassador. Right here. 2007, you see the She Clan of the Yamasee Native Americans. You see co-sponsors, Unity Watchdog, Deduct the Money Nation of Nagamores. That's us. In treaty with the Great Seal, National Association of Moorish Affairs, the Moors of the Round Table, the Seminole Inter-American Tribal Nation, the original Moab Kitawa Cherokee Nation, the Ani Ungalawa Nation, the Yamasee Nation of Moors, the Kemetic Zulu Nation of Moors, the Nesuhu Clan of Moors, and ISIS, the Indigenous Sovereign International Society, which is now called Honor. We all went to the United Nations together. See, this was real Moorish unity back in the days in 2007. It wasn't all this goddamn divisiveness that we got going on now. Nigga trying to take over some shit. You ain't taking this over, nigga. Sorry. So right here, verification. Right here, you see Adar El-Bey, Chief Emir, Grand Sheikh of Virginia State Republic. Peace to all for showing unity, and thanks Dr. Alim for making me a chief in the Unity Washita. All right. Spoke of the four brothers that wrote the treaty. He, Dr. Alim Bey, Amir Khalid Bey, and Amir Jelani Bey, for the purpose of bringing the people together, emphasizing unity to enforce government and the law. Honored all teachers, but especially his teacher, Noble Drew Ali, uplift mothers, show loyalty to the Republic and not to man. We come down, Minister Born El-Bey of ISIS. All right. This is him right here. He was another clown prince trying to move in on the title, but it didn't work. But right here, African Bambaataa. I, Tarif Unk L, our ambassador, chief ambassador of, as you see here, look real close, Virginia State Republic, chief ambassador of United Nations Affairs, and also co-host of the conference, came here for the reclamation and to take part in committees implemented on how things to get done and make reports. We have congressional contractual bonds, the different types of committees that they have from the UN. Please commute your background, please. Civil and political rights, economic and social affairs. This function off of discrimination of women and children at the United Nations. We have a natural cycle and reports back to our duties. Title 18, Part 7, Section 112, Code cites protection of natural persons. Committee needs to be established and will be based on a collection of the consuls. So see, this Moorish consul, we already had that as part of Umar. All right. As-Temi Bey. Now, As-Temi Bey, now he also can verify my position and who I was in the Great Seal National Association of Moorish Affairs, and he was in the National Association Great Seal himself. The Pennsylvania State Republic announced the completion of his website and opened it up to use of Moors as a means of research. The website is AAMEONLINE.net. Type address directly into the web browser. Then we had Minister Ali Muhammad Bey. He gave a presentation on the history of the Moors. All right, so all of us was there. See, this is the stuff that we're talking about. This is history here. See, this is stuff that he can't go into because he has no history. He hasn't brought it to the forefront. There's no history. On this day, May 24th, 2007, 7:03, at the United Nations in the
Sorry?
Republic of in
No,
New York
I'm
State.
looking for Gracie.
Yeah, please mute your background.
That's
Who's ever looking for Gracie? Please mute your background.
yeah. I looked. There's nothing there. There's one on here with no name on it.
All right, so let's get back to this. So on this day, May 24th, 2007, 7:03, at the United Nations in the Republic of New York State, the following proceedings was put into motion. The host was Lord Tarif, Dr. Shaka Zulu of the Zulu Kemetic Moors. Open with prayer, libations, drumming, status. All right. We had Sandra Creamer. She was Aboriginal indigenous representative for the United Nations, reported that the Moors, Africans in America, are worship around the world. Maybe the word worship is a little bit too strong for some of you. So I would say you are seen as elites around the world for whatever you do. This is what she stated, talking about us here. Because it's true. Where did all the major inventions come from? The toilet, the lawnmower, the refrigerator. All of that shit came from here, from America, from us. The Moors here. She commended the group in taking a strong stance against the wrongs that was being done to all indigenous people. This is what she did. And she's Aboriginal from Australia. Then we had Aliyah Fatima Maad El-Bey, all right, chiefess of the Virginia Republic. Then we had Dr. Stella Kiwid from Venezuela, right? And she was an indigenous anthropologist, Venezuelan anthropologist, all right? And she said people do not know their rights. People will need to get together with the original people of the earth, talking about us. People will become more visible. She is also an author who writes about injustices of single women in various nations. Then we had Abain Mohammed. He's the Moroccan president of Indigenous Coalitions for the United Nations. He said, "We are in your land. We have your flag. I am happy for your work and beginnings." He was speaking French, and this is what he was saying in French, that we are in your land. We have your flag. What flag is he talking about? The flag that in which that came from Prophet Noble Ali, but it's not our flag because the flag that they have is intersecting. Our flag is overlaid. So it looks similar, but it's not exactly quite it. But the concept was from our flag. All right. Then you have Professor Elijah Bima, Kenyan professor of engineering at the University of Nairobi. All right. He says, everything you work hard for is a struggle. I came from a small community that struggles to keep from being extinct. Ancestral lands have been given away. Even the native language is almost extinct. Be sure to get a good education. We had Empress or Queen Empress Shekina of the Nuwaubian Nation. I am honored to be invited. My community needs this because it is time for unity. So as you hear, we have various people already. This was unification. And even when we still see each other to this day, we still greet each other. Because there's love and admiration there. But this dude, I don't know who this is, yo. But right here, we have an act of state in which that we had also sealed and signed at the United Nations. And who names is on it? The last four names, in particular, the last three names. You see, Asir, Ali, Allah El. That is Asir, the Duke of Tears. Then you have my wife, Kadera Maad El-Bey, and then you have me, Alim El-Bey. We signed this, the United Nations, unification. So Ali Muhammad, Asir, the Duke of Tears, myself, several others, as you hear, we was unified at one time. Okay? We was unified at one time. All right, so I just want to say that. I guess this is it for me for tonight.
I have a question before we leave.
Yes.
Where can I find some more information about the stuff that you're talking about and your book as well?
Matter of fact, most of this information is in my book. So you can get first world order off of my website, dralimelbey.com.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Alim, a question.
Yes.
So Maria Amoretta Antonio was her name. That was
Yeah, Marie Antoinette.
yes.
Yeah.
So I was not up at the
Yeah, the empress was 6 times removed from her, so that was a relative of hers, just like Noble Drew Ali is a cousin of hers.
right. So I was looking her up and I saw that, of course they had her as a Albion.
Of course. Right, exactly.
Right. And then I was seeing something that they chopped her head off. You know anything about it?
Yeah, that's what it said, that they chopped her head off, God. But we know that wasn't a white woman.
Right. Yeah, I looked at pictures of a
Right.
Albion. Okay.
Right.
Ask a question about this.
Right. All right, God. All right, so this is it for me tonight. If you hear any more nonsense coming from anybody, if they don't know who Washington is or United Washington is, the First Nation state, if they don't know that we are the Royal House of Tunica, if they don't know that I'm the Crown Prince of the Unity Washington Didac Damanya, then they lying. Where's this Negro's books at? Do you have any books? I have 15 books. Where's his books at? What is he doing to uplift fallen humanity? You can't come out after a week, nigga, and think you the Supreme Grand Sheik, Emperor, Highness. I mean, come on, man. Stop with all that egotistical shit. You're a fucking servant. Me as a crown prince, I'm a servant to the people. That's who I am. A servant. I serve my people. I'm not doing this for my fucking health. Hell, oftentimes because of the damn negative energies and the bashing and people trying to be disagreeable. And, come on, man. Who needs that? Who needs that? I don't need that. But I'm real about this shit. That's what I am. I'm real about this. This is my life mission. All right. I know who I am. I know my purpose on this planet. All right. If there's no more questions, I'm going to say I tell Washington Age to everyone. And
Hey, Dr. Alim.
yes.
I need to speak to you if it's possible.
Yeah, well, you can just stay on, God, when everybody get off.
Thank you, Dr. Alim. I see watch Taish, everybody.
Hey, I tell you Washington Age.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, I tell you Washington Age.
Send something to your messenger. So you can hit that.
Okay.
Yeah. Enjoy your evening.
You too, God.
All right, peace.
Peace, Chief.
Yeah, I said what's choice.
Yeah, say what's choice.
What's choice?
Brother Joff, you still on here?
Yes, doctor.
Okay.